Welcome back to the channel. This is part 2 of the 2014 Lotus Evora review, my new to me car, and let's go. Thankfully, living up in the northeast of England, I'm right on the edge of the beautiful North Yorkshire Moors, which has one of my favourite roads. To Castleton. People from up here will know it, and people that watch Top Gear and the likes will probably recognise it because they use it quite a lot too. Right, let's go. Welcome to part 2 of the test drive of my new to me Lotus Evora Sports Racer 2014 normally aspirated IPS gearbox. Now, I've had quite a few Lotuses in the past, Elises, Exige, so I can compare to them quite a bit. Last car was a Jaguar F-Type 3-litre V6 and that was a beautiful car. I'll probably compare to that a little bit as well. 2012 saw an improved interior in the Evora, better leather quality, new seat design, new sat-nav system, and the addition of a sports mode which changes the throttle progression, gives a few more revs, allows a bit more slip on the traction control, and it opens up the valve in the exhaust. So this Evora comes with the IPS Intelligent Precise Shift gearbox. It's actually the original gearbox that was mated to this engine by Toyota when it was all first designed, so it's quite well matched to this engine. A couple of reasons why I went for the IPS is because the Jaguar F-Type I had last time was a superb automatic gearbox and it's just converted me totally. But also this doesn't suffer from the problems you get with the early manual cars. The slack gear change, the seized cables, just the poor operation, the price to change a clutch if it does go wrong. So coming from the Elise, which is a very small lightweight car, we've got this which is considered to be a heavy car at about 1250 kilograms, and that's probably about 400 more than the Elise I had, but it is quite a bit less than the Jaguar F-Type I had, which was more like 1600 kilograms. So what this lacks in power makes up for in weight. So if we do compare it with the F-Type or even the Porsche Cayman, this is at 4.35 metres, the shortest of the three. At a width of 1.85, it's narrower than the Jaguar, but the Porsche Cayman is just slightly narrower. Height wise, this is just over 1.2 metres. Again, it's the lowest of the three that we're going to compare with today. Brake horsepower wise, this has 276, the Jaguar had 380. A similar Porsche Cayman, maybe a 2.7, would have about 275, so that's got the same brake horsepower. But that's down on torque compared to this one at 258. Cayman only has about 214. So 0 to 60, well, coming from supercharged Elises and Exiges, which is just over 4 seconds, this is probably about 5. The The Jaguar was just under 5 and the Porsche is just over 5, so they're all very similar. Top speeds 160ish for them all. And as for miles per gallon, the little Elise I had was getting 36 miles per gallon really easy. Jaguar 25 to 27 maybe. This does about 30, which isn't too bad. I think the Porsche Camry does a little bit more, but really there's not much in it. So the three cars are quite similar. So it's going to be interesting driving it. And like I say, this is probably the slowest car I've had in the last 10 years. On paper at least. But if the steering and ride is as good as my first impression, I think that will more than make up for the outright performance. So, less talking. Let's start driving. Sport mode engaged. Right, if we talk about the steering, Jaguar will definitely come last. My version had the electronic steering and it did lack a lot of feedback. Plus the car didn't like to change direction quickly. Got unsettled very quickly. The Elise, however, could change on a dime. It was superb. Direct, every little movement of the steering wheel reacted straight away. Really good. The Evora again, it's great. It's a little bit softer than the Elise, but the change is instant. The car will change directions, no problem at all. I think this might just have it over the Elise, you know. Certainly on these type of roads, bumpy, undulating roads, doesn't have the feedback of the Elise, but it still gives you the confidence of it. So yeah, the steering wheel is lovely on the Evora. Hands nicely placed, spaces for the thumbs, controls easy in hand. Paddle shifts easy in hand. Paddle shifts that turn with the steering wheel, so they're always there to operate. Unlike I believe the Exige is on the column. So yeah, steering wheel is nice. So suspensions, I'm going to put the Jaguar F-Type in third place. A bit disappointed in the Jaguar, to be honest. Had a firm ride just in normal mode. In dynamic mode it was a bit firmer, was better in dynamic mode, but undulating roads soon became flustered. Didn't like changes of direction quickly. So that was a bit of a downfall of the F-Type. The Elise I'll put in second place purely on driving British roads. Bumpy roads. It didn't unsettle it. It just, I felt I always wanted to avoid the bumps, the potholes. But on a straight, flat road, superb. Definitely go-kart like. If you went over a pebble, it would tell you the size, what it was made of. The Exige I had would probably have carbon dated it for you. Superb, it really was. But I'm just going to pivot with the Evora simply because it does everything so well. It just handles these British roads, these B roads, absolutely superb. And when the reviewer calls it sublime, yeah, you can understand it. It's just one word, and that's all you need. It is sublime. It's unflustered. Goes over the bumps without a care in the world. Changes direction instantly. Yeah, if it goes over a stone or a bump, it'll tell you. But then it'll just laugh and just say crack on. And that's what you want to do. You just want to keep going. You want to find the next twisty. So that brow of a hill there would have probably unsettled the F-Type. Certainly if you were making any type of progress. The Evora just floated over it. So yeah, I'm going to put the Evora in first place. That might come as a surprise to quite a lot of people. But on these roads, sublime. It is, it really is. So the brakes on the three cars, the Jaguar had big brakes, but it needed them. The extra weight that it carried definitely needed the bigger brakes. It was still more than adequate, but they weren't as good as the Elise. Considering the Elise had brakes from a Ford Fiesta 1.1 Popular from many years ago, the feedback from there was instant. Stop the car in a penny. That's all you needed on that light car. The Evora is mid-range of the two. Certainly bigger. Brakes are bigger, the calipers are bigger, but the car weighs a bit more than the Elise. And I just feel they're a little bit spongy. They're a bit soft. Now, one of my things I'm going to do in the near future is do a brake fluid change, check the hoses, maybe put some performance hoses on, and I hope that will improve the braking a lot. Right, so exhausts. This is probably the least impressive exhaust. It's the quietest. Which on a motorway or through villages and towns, perfect. There's no droning from it. It's lovely and quiet. When you press the sport button, the valve opens up in the exhaust and it just livens up a little bit more. Certainly the downshifts are accompanied by a lovely blip of the throttle, and that is echoed through the exhaust. But it just lacks something for me. So in second place I'd put the Elise, purely because I had a tubular exhaust, and that was a lovely sounding exhaust, especially with the scream of the Banshee alongside him. Did drone a little bit on motorways, but when you're on the twisties, it's just more than made up for it. However, the best exhaust, best sounding car was the Jaguar F-Type. That was superb. Pops and bangs on overrun. It's got to be one of the best sounding cars you'll get straight out of the box. Standard exhaust. Again, that was valved, so you could have it quiet. But when you put it in dynamic mode, two valves opened up. Boom, changed miraculously. Sound was fantastic, it really was. So that's definitely the best of the three. So out of the 3 gearboxes, I'll have to put the Lotus Elise that I had in 3rd place, simply because it was just a little bit loose at times. I know they made a big improvement in the later models, but mine still felt a little bit slack. And if you try to change gear a little bit too early, it didn't like it. Certainly on the track it struggled a little bit. The Evora automatic is a very good gearbox. Don't let anyone say otherwise. In automatic it looks after itself. Sport mode just adds that other dimension to it. Just makes it a bit more fun. And of course the paddle change for that total manual control. Again, the changes are brilliant. Downshifts are instant, upshifts have a very minimal lag. I'm only saying that because I'm comparing it to the Jaguar. The F-Type gearbox was absolutely superb. Definitely the best of the bunch. In automatic or manual control, definitely the best. So in automatic sport modes, the gearbox is great, changes gear quickly when you expect it to. Engine holds the revs for a little bit higher, and I'm quite happy with automatic mode. Sometimes you want to take control. That's where the paddles come in. So to simply put into manual mode, you hold the paddle. Dashboard changes from default drive to whatever gear you're in, and it'll stay in manual mode until either you hold the paddle for a couple of seconds or press the drive button. So the upshifts, very quick. Shift again, very quick. There's a marginal lag, and I only say that because I'm used to the Jaguar F-Type, which was instant. The lag that people talk about, that you read about, it's next to nothing, it really is. So we're in 6th gear, still in manual. The downshifts are instant. And they're accompanied by that lovely grip of the throttle. Sounds nice and just smooths that gear change out a bit. So we'll go back on the upshifts. Nothing wrong with those upshifts at all. No, this is a really good gearbox. The guros at Lotus, they know what they're doing. They've tweaked this gearbox and they're happy with it. If they're happy with it, it's certainly good enough for me. And I don't think they would have put it into production if they weren't happy with it. Oh, it's lovely, that downshift. Upshift, there's no problem with that at all. Ignore all those experts, honestly, this is a good gearbox. Oh, tubes. Brakes are pretty good. So, what are the bad points about this car? Well, there's not many, and I'm being picky. Obviously getting in and out is a lot easier than the Elise, but it's still difficult, and you really need the door open as far as you possibly can. But that's something I've come to live with. Owning Lotus for 10 years, getting in and out, yeah, you learn the technique and then you fall out. The build quality as such, well, there's a few squeaks and rattles, but there's not many. Obviously the Jaguar had none. The Elise had quite a lot, even though it was the S3 version, which was a massive improvement on the S2. But yeah, the materials are good. Again, the Jaguar wins outright on the materials, but this is a much better put together car. The seats, the leather. This one's not suffering from the airbag lifting problem, which the earlier ones seem to suffer from. The Alcantara trim is a nice little addition as well. The paint quality on the wheels is shocking. I jet washed the car the other day and lost quite a bit of paint, so there's those wheels will have to go and get powder coated. Whilst I was washing the car, I also noticed that the door handles held water. It's a bit odd. I guess in the winter, if it's cold, it would hold the snow there, any water would turn ice. It's a little thing, it's a nitpicking thing really. Not too bad. Visibility is good, but the rear visibility is not the best. But we've got the wing mirrors, they're nice and big, they give you a lovely view of the vent, the haunches over the rear wheels. Just reminds you that you are in a proper sports car. So yeah, rear visibility is not brilliant, but we can live with that. The dashboard, yeah, it's better than the Elise, gives you more information than the Elise. But my particular one, the left hand panel of the dashboard, looks like it's got a very bad screen protector on it, which makes it very difficult to see. But it does give you a lot more information. It gives you trip computers, miles per gallon, different speeds, kilometers, miles an hour. Again, it doesn't give you as much information as the Jaguar, and the Jaguar is a fantastic dashboard. But yeah, this is a good dashboard. Just a bit old-fashioned. The red on the black reminds you of one of the very first LED watches you used to get from the 70s. Sat nav, it's got one, which is a bonus for a Lotus. It's not the best, but it's adequate. Again, the Jaguar wins on that one. But overall, I'm more than happy with this car. Thoroughly recommend anyone to get an Evora. Right, let's do a bit more driving. Well, my fuel lights just come on. I've had enormous fun, probably too much fun. So now it's time to head back. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope you've learned something from it. I hope it's been informative. If you have liked it, please press the like button. Give me a thumbs up. If you want to know more, if you want to keep in touch, hit the subscribe button. That helps me a lot. It means I can customize the channel a lot more, and it means my next video you'll know about it as soon as it's uploaded.